greetings, travelers, on what will conclude my current filler arc until Endwalker releases. I'm going to educate you on the ways in which you can silently judge every single soul around you to see that if they are up to par. In person-to-person relationships, a red flag means that you probably can't have a healthy relationship with said person. In the context of Final Fantasy XIV, a red flag means you probably aren't going to be very healthy in said instance, a sign of true danger. Think of these more like guiding principles than actual rules. But I'm still going to teach you how to judge a book by its cover. My first classic red flag. Looking through Party Finder and seeing a description that says something to the effect of no salt, positive vibes only. The only people who say shit like this are either extremely fucking toxic themselves or a shitter at the game, of which both extremes are undesirable in the eyes of many.
To be honest, I've never seen anyone in Party Finder requiring no salt. I don't know if this is something that people normally do like in their descriptions, but I just haven't been. I don't know. I've never seen it.
The only 100% certainty with a description like that is that whatever player has put this Party Finder up has been hard stuck for the last eternity. What kind of salt are we talking about anyways? Sea salt? Iodized salt? Salt substitute?
Hi, Morgan.
Or
Welcome
was
back.
someone just not nice enough when they said that you needed to voke the boss to swap properly? I can personally say the amount of times I've been in these types of instances and had a good experience. The answer is like 5 or 6, which according to my math is not equal to 0. So maybe you'll get a chill group that clears instead of a toxic group that makes you feel inadequate, or a chill group who sucks at the game.
Oh wait, so this isn't the beach episode of the filler arc. Well, don't I look just so silly? Gotta play it cool. So true, King, but consider this red flag. Players who type stuff like this at the start of the dungeon instead of the
Hello, good morning. It's my first time in this instance. Sorry for any mistake. Okay, so what's wrong with that? Like, I'm pretty sure I was the person who posted that on multiple occasions when I started.
little O/ the way Satan intended. I'll be honest, this is sociopathic behavior. Whenever I see this, a chill runs down my spine. Who gave you the right to address me as if I were worthy of polite grammar and respect when I play a catboy, making your kindness so obviously undeserved? I hate to use the term normie unironically,
Jeez.
but that's genuinely how
Wow,
it feels
that
when someone
hurts.
types like this in-game. Instead of kicking it back with a fellow cultured gamer, now it feels like you're in a dungeon with your mom or teacher. Every time you let your guard back down, they pop in with something terrifying yet again, like, that's the moment you
Do you need to know for this fine man? Okay, if I was a mentor, I would find this message mildly annoying, just because I wouldn't like to get called out for it. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I message like that too. I actually have a macro set up that I use at the beginning and at the end of the dungeon that is perfectly grammatically correct. You know, greeting people nicely and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's wrong with that?
Your every action is being judged. Better not slip in your rotation even once, because this assignment is 50% of your overall grade, and there is no curve. I already graduated Demon Harvard, and yet I feel the need to ask them if I have all my credits in order to walk next June. Well, your kind
Jeez.
scares me. I also worry about your mental state. No one who uses this is doing okay. Though you may want to help them, avoid this player, lest you also be dragged into the sea of passive aggressiveness.
My god, I
Wait,
have those
what am I
emotes
doing
in my
here?
messages too.
The second simple red flag. A player has no idea what limit break is. How could you possibly miss a core mechanic to the game that is never put onto your hotbar until you actually go and do it yourself, and there also isn't a tutorial for it that tells you about it? Nah, you can't fool me, that doesn't exist. This player base doesn't even have eyes anyways. Okay, I'll admit it, if the player's in something like Sastasha, yeah, you're not beyond saving. You still have the potential to be educated. But if you're past like level 70 and you have no idea what limit break is, I don't know, Chief. You're either bought a level boost and you're completely lost, or you're just this way without an excuse. See,
Oh, jeez.
real good players learn to fuck up the limit break timings when it actually matters and either laugh it off or go back to consuming vices. Alternatively, you can be one of those mouth breathers who cannot comprehend using a ranged limit break on a trash pull or begging for a healer LB3 when only 3 people are down and you're probably playing a red mage. Actually, I get it. I don't like weakness debuff either.
Yeah, but why would they use healer LB in the first place, when that would mean they can't rub their raise macros in my face? Shout out to the white mage genius who really said to themselves, dying is one of the most fun things to do in this game, teehee. So why not make it even more fun with a passive-aggressive raise macro from me, the healer who let you die?
Okay, these macros, I do hate them. I was just in a dungeon a few days ago, and like there were like 2 healers with their most annoying macros of like what was it, death is unfit for hero, or I don't know, please come back to us, or whatever. Like, I don't know, I might be super based on this, but I do hate them because I feel so called out. Like, every time I die, like, my name just pops up there and you feel like everyone's just quietly laughing at you because you're the person who died. Like, I don't like it. How can you make a macro with the sound alarm in it? What? Is that possible?
In the first place, XD! Featuring such top 10 red flag healer classics such as I'm not your mama, but I'll raise you.
Yeah,
X-ray
exactly
nuzzles
that.
and kisses. Daddy, your bulgy-walgy doesn't belong on the floor. Ooh. Stop tanking the floor, boss! You should be a dragoon maid! And of course, the ultimate. You owe me 1,800 MP, you piece of worthless garbage. I guess the stereotype that you're
Wow.
all evil on the low-key is true, because nothing gets me more heated than one of these babies. And I'm starting to think you do it on purpose. Some type of self-aware torture of other players whose only sin is having the gall to exist within 5 feet of you. But
I thought, to be honest, like, about these macros, I thought that they were not gonna be allowed anymore after the change of like terms of service, where they listed all these acceptable and unacceptable things you can say in dungeons. I still think this is one of the most toxic things healers do.
they aren't the only ones guilty of text macro crimes. Astrologians, if you've ever macroed a Yu-Gi-Oh reference to literally any of your skills, I'm gonna kill you and introduce you to the Shadow Realm early since you love it so much. And if you've ever macroed some Kenshin quotes to your samurai skills, congratulations! You managed to make the Queen of Cringe herself into a 3-week-long coma. Are you proud?
Did you hear something? Anyways, red flag number 3 requires a little bit of backstory. If you spent any amount of time looking at strategies to high-end content, you've definitely found healers who brag about their parses. Oh, look at you, you big bad boy. Imagine having another healer do all the work in the instance while you mash your one-button DPS rotation. Congratulations. Really, these types of healers are the ones who are going to let you die and then spin a wheel to find someone else to push the blame on. Probably you. Instead of playing like a real bitch and getting people from point A to point B, they complain when they have to press a single GCD heal to survive. Alternatively, you can get the healer that doesn't do any damage and increases the viscosity of your run tenfold.
I don't know what the things are like with healers in Final Fantasy. I know in WoW, like, yeah, healers could parse, but also healers are the ones who don't really have a specific rotation. As in, you constantly have to just be aware of your environment, and your parses are heavily affected by what happens in the raid group. So you can't really rely on these numbers at all. Okay, what's the Yu-Gi-Oh macro? It was in the video, and you're also mentioning it, and I have never seen it.
Or the healer with a god complex who decides to spite you for that one mistake. Or the healer who just sucks. Actually, now that I think about it, playing healer itself is just a red flag. It's an even more terrifying red flag when that healer is a couple with the tank. Oh god, I actually don't even want to think about that. Regardless,
What?
if you need that big healer parse to bring you up, then I know that you're going to let me down.
Oh, whoops.
What's
my
wrong
bad. I
with
was just
healers
looking at my
and tanks
orange
being
healing
couples?
parses. Let me
What
go
the
wash
hell?
my hands real quick. Speaking of healers being a red flag, did you know they can be not just toxic, but downright
Excuse me?
radioactive? That's right. It's easy to identify, too. The ultimate tell of a Chernobyl healer is having cure on the hotbar as a white mage. Now, if you find yourself asking why, that's exactly why you're a red flag. Non-healer mains, I see your look of innocent confusion. There's this little white mage trait called Free Cure, and it's the biggest bait trait known to man. A little bit of simple math will tell you that this isn't worth it. And yet, every time I queue into a dungeon as a tank, there's a 50% chance the white mage will spam Cure 1 on me while my health dips into the low 30% ranges. Their MP is important to them, you see? More important than the tank, more important than clearing the dungeon, more important than life itself, actually. Rumor has it, the Free Cure Fisher will cast Cure over and over, even outside of instances, waiting and wishing for that Cure 2 proc, whispering silent prayers to themselves as they become more and more desperate. If the world was ending, they would not stop casting. And for the record, I admire their persistence. I think it's amazing they even managed to get to level 70 with that kind of playstyle. Then, I realize it's all of our faults for never speaking up and offering advice to these players, which makes all of us a red flag if you really think about it. But we're not gonna do any serious self-reflection on the Misshapen Chair channel because that would be extremely off-brand.
Moving on from the previous red flag,
I love this co-op.
which was about healer parses, I'm going to talk about players who boast about their spreadsheet optimization. This is what happens to the world when nerds finally get all the power. Imagine thinking that you're special for your fancy damage rotation that barely even makes a difference. Yeah, you can inflate your DPS by like 2%, but as a consequence, your ego is inflated by about 10,000. Is that really worth it? These types of players don't even see the other people they play with as human beings, merely glitches that get in the way of their Excel formulas. They will gladly kill everyone off if anything even goes slightly not according to plan. They're probably those kids that reminded the teacher that we didn't collect a homework assignment. I bet you're fun to hang out with, but if I already have a passing grade in a class, why would I ever want to do any better? I have a degree.
Chair, I don't like your usage of the word inflation. It reminds me of the darkness I was forced to witness as a child on DeviantArt. And you know what else sends me into another series of crippling war flashbacks? Cape West Wind. Don't even type the joke, human. I was ready for it. And this is your call-out post. If from the moment you queue into Cape West Wind, someone types any variation of "we're all gonna wipe, oh no, tee-hee," or "hardest fight
Is that, like,
ever,
considered
OMG,
super
Ruffle
cringe?
Mal Barbecue," then this person is way too young for you. They haven't been playing long enough to become jaded, to have
I know a
witnessed
person
this
who does
joke
that.
thousands of times, and for it to become less and less funny with every iteration. Please,
Can't
just
really
stick
call
to the
them out
new
now.
name. Say anything else. Say, "Did you know that Final Fantasy XIV is a free trial up to level 60? Or say, "Healers adjust," or whatever. I would genuinely take anything over this cold, decaying, dead horse of a meme that people keep reviving just to piss all over its rotting corpse once more. Every trial roulette is a silent showdown with Yoshi P, just waiting to see what kind of torment he'll force me to contend with next. Oddly enough, Cape West Wind has become hard. In a way, it's become a personal challenge of mine to get through the trial without anyone saying how easy it is. Still haven't done it, by the way, but who knows? I'm going for world first. Maybe it'll happen someday, or maybe I'll win the lottery.
And of course, at the end, the very last red flag, having a lore-appropriate name. This means only one thing: where that player values their time. It's not 1,000 hours of raw progging, it's 1,000 hours of the other kind of RP, which means they simply have a different set of values from you. You see, you put your time into stupid, shitty gameplay content, while they put their time into stupid, shitty lore content. It's really not that
Excuse me?
different, but I swear to God, if you drop me like one of those fucking healers, I will still be able to take it because I'm used to suffering. I'm not a masochist by choice. But seriously, seeing a lore-appropriate name is pretty much immersion breaking to me.
Oh, come on.
Because it seems like the person behind the character isn't actually
I
a
love
gamer.
seeing them.
Who would you rather have on your team? Lala Falala or Pressing Butons? You might even take it a step further and play a classic Ice Mage or force people to deal with the fact that you don't use a Jobstone. Why the fuck is that still possible? You've got some explaining to do to me, Mr. Yoshida-san.
See, other than pretending I don't exist, this is what's wrong with you. You talk about raw progging and role-playing, but haven't even considered the possibility of rough pegging. You're gonna lose your cat girl street cred at this rate, sir. Oh, and that reminds me, I have one more red flag. Now listen, you know me. I try to give all cat girls the benefit of the doubt. Like, the odds that they all have Limsa Lamenza as their return teleport is pretty low, right? But I promise you, cat girls who also just
Everyone
so happen
has
to
it.
mean samurai,
It's the most convenient
irredeemable.
one.
Ever wondered why Samurai is the highest DPS? Ask yourself, where does that power come from? I'll tell you where it comes from. His Nekopara body pillows. With their forces combined, Samurai can unlock the almighty Midare Setsugeka. They've sold their souls just to get a glimpse of what it's like to be a god, but no amount of power is enough for them. Indeed, they will attempt ultimate just to feel that initial high all over again. They'll even become a YouTube content creator just to relish in the praise of foolish mortals who are none the wiser to the terrible deity they worship. Worst part is, when he gets his hands on you and pushes you headfirst into the underworld, he can probably play a sad little piano tune at your funeral just to insult
awesome.
you one last time. The samurai cat girl is deceptive in their cuteness, for all they truly want is to destroy. Will their lust for damage ever be sated? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't stick around long enough to find out. What's that, human? You're worried for my sake then? You say one is in my midst as we speak? No worries. As the saying goes, keep your friends close and, your enemies closer.
I'm not really sure why, but I feel like I
love
just
it.
got fucking roasted. Holy shit. Is being a YouTube creator also a red flag? It was all foretold long ago
Best
when I
ads
first
ever.
described the vast, complicated social structures within Final Fantasy XIV. In other words, if you have one of these red flags, at least you aren't a mentor. Incredible. Truly incredible.
He said the
How did
thing.
you do it? Well, I'm sure nothing of interest is happening right
That
now,
was pretty
especially in this
entertaining.
video. Maybe my creative juices will return to me when Endwalker finally releases, when my frustration ultimately reaches a new peak. Now let's get out there and continue to get mad at a computer game while keeping the illusion of kindness.
Transition sound effect. Well, what did I expect? Never meet your heroes, kids will treat you like an insect. Wait, stop. I already roasted him this time. Well, fine. Let's do a red flag rhyme. If you find you can relate to more than one of these, here's a demon girl's advice. Time to make like a tree, cause it's baseball, kid, and you're out once you strike 3. No mentor crown, but here's my decree. Now I call him like I see him in this red flag coliseum. If you're clear, then carpe diem, but if not, then fuck your freedoms. Directly to jail by GM. Gotcha cry until the PM. They'll slide right into your DM straight to Yoshi Peace Museum.
Oh my god.
I wanna see what Daddy Peace got in his, naughty.
Okay, well, at least I wasn't called out for everything.
Next, me
That's pretty good.
next.